Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. We are going to start with academic IELTS reading, and we have a test. This is the latest test we are going to solve. So you need to be very, very attentive while we are solving the test. Actually, right now, don't try to find answers on your own. What you guys have to do, follow my instructions and do it all with me. Okay, if I'm reading the questions, you are reading the questions with me. If I'm reading the passage, you are following the passage with me. So be active and alert. IELTS reading is the most difficult module. The toughest one is academic IELTS reading. And those who are gender training IELTS candidates, raise your hands please. Gender training IELTS candidates, we are doing academic reading because it is the tough one, and the only difference between academic and gender training is type of passages. Otherwise, the questions, we have same type of questions in academic and in gender training. And another point is part 3 of gender training is exactly the same like academic reading. So if gender training candidates solve some tests of academic reading, they will find gender training reading easier after that by comparison. Okay, and for gender training, marking criteria is tougher. 34 correct answers and then they get 7 band. Academic candidates with 30 correct answers, they get 7 band. So this marking criteria is different because of the level of difficulty. Okay, now whenever you start your reading, first of all you have to read the title. What's the title here? Thylacine. Now look at me. What do you understand from thylacine? Maybe animal, but you don't know. Most of you don't know. If you read the title and you don't know what it is about, it's a good idea to read the first line of the passage. What is it? The extinct thylacine, also known as Tasmanian tiger. So thylacine is a tiger. Now I want you to switch on your imagination to think about tigers. A tiger is going, tiger is walking, tiger is going there. Okay, so think about tiger. Yeah, another tiger. All right, so think about tigers and you'll understand better. Your imagination will help you a lot in IELTS listening as well as in IELTS reading module. After reading the title, first you will come to the questions and you will take a look at all the questions. Questions 1 to 5, complete the notes below. Now guys, I tell you, there are two types of questions. One is type A and one is type B. Type A questions are those where questions and answers are in order. And type B questions are those where questions and answers are not in order. Now you may ask me, how do we get to know it's type A or type B? I'll tell you about that. Mainly type B questions are just few. Two type of questions are type B. Number 1, list of headings. Number 2, which paragraph contains the following information. Otherwise, most of the questions are type A questions. Okay, so whenever you start your reading, it's a good idea to start with type A questions because type A questions are systematic ones and you can easily find your answers. So let's come to questions 1 to 5. They are complete the notes below. Choose one word only. Questions 6 to 13, what are they? True, false, not given. Now true, false, not given is also type A questions. So please note down one thing. In academic reading part 1, you are going to get sentence completion and true, false, not given. In part 1, most of the time they give you type A questions. And in gender training reading part 1, you will get true, false, not given and sentence completion as well. There will be 2 passages and you will be getting these type of questions. All clear? Okay. Now you just have to see how I read the questions, how I scan the passage, and your first target should be, after reading the question, you should reach the right part of the passage where there is the answer. Once you do so, you can save time, you can manage your time. Otherwise, in IELTS reading, time is very, very important commodity. Students usually finish 2 passages in 1 hour and they don't have time for 3rd passage. So you need to take care of all these things. Okay, now let's make a start. Thylacine. I'm reading questions 1 to 5. Complete the notes below. Choose one word only from the passage. Thylacine, appearance and behavior. They use the word looked rather like a dog. So please go back to the passage and look for the word dog. First paragraph, second line, and there is the word dog. It means answers are going to be somewhere. Now please let's go on. Second bullet point, had a series of stripes along its body and tail. Okay, now next is ate an entirely dash diet. Now listen, ate. You will look for something eats or ate. Entirely dash diet. Dash diet means type of diet. It eats. So please come to first paragraph. Look for the word feeding. Second paragraph. Look for the word feeding. Okay. Got it? Second line. In terms of feeding. Everyone found it? Now listen. This is the sentence where you will find the answer. And if you reach the sentence which contains the answer like this, IELTS reading will not be a problem. IELTS reading is a problem when you read the wrong paragraph. When you read the wrong sentences where there is no answer, then you read something else. So if you do IELTS reading without any proper mechanism, you will often be lost. Okay? So I read it. Now basically we are going to see type of diet. Dash diet means type of diet. In terms of feeding, it was exclusively carnivorous and its stomach was muscular with an ability to distend so that it could eat large amounts of food. So in terms of feeding, it was exclusively carnivorous. Type of diet? Carnivorous. And what is carnivorous? Animals that eat meat. So ate an entirely dash diet. Entirely dash diet, and for that they use exclusively carnivorous. All clear to everyone? And it's one word only. So you're not going to write any extra word with that. When it is one word only, don't even write. No, why exclusively? It's one word only. Yeah, if you want to make your right answer wrong, then write exclusively also. And after that you say, मैं पूरा answer लिख के आया था. Okay, just read the instructions. What is the instruction? क्या लिखा हुआ है? One word only. So then why you write exclusively? Okay, let's go on. Question number 2. Probably depended mainly on dash when hunting. Look here. Now imagine that tiger, when tiger is hunting, it depends on something. It may depend, it depends on its vision, it depends on its speed, it depends on its whatever. Okay, so when hunting, probably depended mainly on dash when hunting. Now let's go on. Look for the word hunting, scavenger, hunt and all that. Okay, now please come to fifth last line. During long distance chase. Chase is for hunt. I mean purpose is same. Chase is for hunt. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Good. All right. During long distance chase, thylacines were likely to have relied more on scent. Relied more on. And what does it mean? Relied. Rely means depended. So depended on what? Scent. And what is scent? Khushbu. Exactly. So for question number 2, correct answer is scent. And in part 1, don't give more than 1 minute to each question. Try to finish it all in 11 to 12 minutes so that you have more time for part 2 and part 3. All clear? Please make sure your neighbor is also attentive. Your neighbor should not sit idle that he's looking here and there and doesn't know what's going on. Okay. Question number 3. Young spent. Young means the babies of thylacine. Okay. Young spent first months of life inside its mother's dash. Look here. It's the part of mother's body. Inside its mother's dash. So let's go back and we look for babies. Third paragraph, and you need to come to this third line. Newborns. Okay, what is the word for newborn in the question? Young. Got it? You must focus all these things. Newborns crawled into the pouch on the belly of their mother. So what is on the belly of their mother? Pouch. What is the answer? Good. Thank goodness no one said belly. Okay? So what's the question? Young spent first months of life inside its mother's pouch. And what is the word for mother's pouch? They use the word pouch on the belly of their mother. Clear? Yeah, now why not belly? Because it's not the answer. There is a pouch actually. Okay? Just like kangaroo. Inside. Yeah, inside. Yes, it's another word. Into the pouch and inside the pouch. Into and inside, another good thing. Good. Let's go on. Decline and extinction. Question number 4. Last evidence in mainland Australia is 3100 year old. Look for 3100. Fourth paragraph, 3100 year old. Now look here, look here. They have used the word 3100 year old dash. What does it mean? It means something which is 3100 years old. So let's go back and we read from here. Okay, we found 3100 years old. I'm reading it from second line. Fourth paragraph, second line after full stop. The most recent, found it? Okay, please follow me. The most recent well-dated occurrence of thylacine on the mainland is carbon-dated fossil from Murray Cave in Western Australia, which is, now listen, very important point, which is a word of reference, which means fossil, which goes back to fossil, or which is qualifying fossil, which is around 3100 year old. Now some will write Australia, some will write cave, okay, because they don't know where the hell is which going back to. So where which is going back, that will be the answer. Again, if you read it like this, is carbon dated fossil from Murray Cave in Western Australia, and then there is the comma, which is around 3100 year old. So that is fossil. Correct answer is fossil. Okay, let's go on. After that, there is one point without a question. So it means in the passage we will leave some lines. Question number 5. Reduction in dash. Underline the word reduction. Reduction in dash and available source of food were partly responsible for decline in Tasmania. Now let's look for reduction and we go on. Next page. Please come to next page. Okay, now first paragraph we have here. Okay, we just go on. Please come to first paragraph, third last line. These include competitions. Got it? Yes. Okay, and for reduction they have used the word loss of. These include competition with wild dogs introduced by European settlers. Loss of habitat along with the disappearance of prey species and distemper-like disease, which may also have affected thylacine. So loss of habitat. One thing is wild dogs and second is loss of habitat. So reduction in. Now reduction in, you cannot write wild dogs because wild dogs came there. Europeans brought wild dogs to fight with this tiger. So reduction in habitat. And what is the word for reduction? Loss of. Okay, they always use words like this. Once you solve 8 to 10 tests, you will be clear. You will be clever also. Clear and clever, right? So the correct answer is habitat. Okay. Okay guys, now we move on. Question number 6 onwards. True, false, not given. I tell you, there is a mechanism in true, false, not given as well. Sometimes there is one word which decides whether the answer is true, false, or not given. And that word can be majority. That word can be most of. That word can be all. Okay? Sometimes it's a phrase. A phrase is a group of words, like 3, 4, 5 words that decides. So whenever you read the questions, you need to decide immediately which thing is going to decide whether the answer is true, false or not given. I tell you how to find that. And then you will look for that specific information within the question and you'll find it like this. Okay, let's do it. Question number 6. Significant numbers of thylacines. Underline significant number. In true, false, not given, they always give words like this. Significant numbers of thylacines were killed by human. Now, significant number were killed by human from 1830s onwards. Look here. Look here. If majority of thylacines were killed by human from 1830s, answer is true. If they were killed by hunters, hunter is human, people, okay, then the answer can be true. If they were killed by wild dogs, you know, they said Europeans introduced wild dogs. So if majority of thylacines, they were killed by wild dogs, not by human, answer is false. And if they don't tell us that the majority or significant number of thylacines, whether they were killed by human or by dogs, then answer is in every question of true, false, not given, you have to find this very thing, right? So there they use the word significant number and 1830s. Please come back, look for 1830s. Second page, first paragraph. Got it? Second page of the passage, first paragraph. The dramatic decline of thylacine in Tasmania, which began in the 1930s. Now see that you easily found 1830s. So first thing is to find the location of the answer. What do we call it? Location of the answer. I'm reading first line. 1830s and continued for a century is generally attributed to the relentless efforts of sheep farmers and bounty hunters with shotgun. Now who killed most of them? Sheep farmers and bounty hunters. Now what is bounty hunter? Have you noticed one thing? They have given double star here. Some words which are really unusual or any terminology, they give the meaning. If you come down, bounty hunters, people who are paid a reward for killing a wild animal, they are called bounty hunters. So what do they say here? And continued for a century is generally attributed to most of the killers of thylacine. They were sheep farmers and bounty hunters, and both of them are human. So please come back. Significant number of thylacines were killed by humans. For humans they use the word farmers and bounty hunters. Good? Clear? Good. And you should write true, T-R-U-E, true, or capital T, whatever. Let's go on. Question number 7. Several thylacines were born in zoos. Underline several thylacines born in zoo during the late 1800s. Now listen. Late 1800s. What does it mean? This is very important point. Late 1800s. What does it mean? No, listen. Late 1800s means 1770, 1780, 1790, 1795. Remember this thing. Now, which century is going on? 21st century. But what do you write? 2022. 2022 means, 20 is 20th. You understand this point? 20 is 20th and the century is 21st. So this is what you need to understand. When they say 1800s, don't look for 1800. Look for 17 something. Okay, and as they said, late means 1785, 1795 and all that. So several thylacines were born in zoos. Let's go back. Questions and answers are in order. Found the word? Okay, next paragraph, and we've got this first line. Alright, let's just go on. There was only one successful attempt to breed a thylacine in captivity. In captivity means in the zoo. Captivity means in the zoo. there was only one successful attempt to breed a thylacine in captivity at Melbourne Zoo in 1899. Now, what is 1899? It's late 19. It's not early 1800s. It's late 19. And then they use the word several thylacines. But over here, what do they say? There was only one successful. So there are two ways by which this answer is false. Absolutely. And two ways. One is this 1899 and second is there was only one successful attempt. Okay? Got it? All clear? Good. And again I'm saying underline that line where there is the answer. Go back home and practice again. Okay, question number 8 please. John Gould. John Gould's prediction about thylacine surprised some biologists. Underline the word surprised. John Gould is a name. John Gould was a scientist, a bird scientist and all that. John Gould's prediction about thylacine surprised some biologists. Now look here. Over here, only the word surprised will decide whether the answer is true, false or not given. If John Gould's prediction surprised the scientists, like scientists were amazed, answer is true. If scientists were expecting that and for them it was normal, they were not surprised, answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether the scientists were surprised or not, then the answer is not given. What is the clue word? John Gould. Absolutely. Please come back. Exactly. Third line of third last paragraph. The famous naturalist John Gould foresaw means predicted, the thylacine's demise, okay, when he published his Mammals of Australia between 1848 and 1863, writing, the numbers of this singular animal will speedily diminish, extermination will have its full sway, and it will then, like the wolf of England and Scotland, be recorded as an animal of the past. Have they mentioned anything that the scientists were surprised? So the answer is, well done. Got it now? Good job. This is part 1. ठहर जाओ, अभी part 2, 3 आने दो, फिर देखना सांप सूंघता है. Okay, that's normal. Alright, let's go on. Question number 9. In the early 1900s, what is that? Early 1900s, 18 something. Many scientists became worried, underline became worried. Many scientists became worried about the possible extinction of thylacine. Now listen, if scientists became worried about the possible extinction of thylacine, answer is true. If scientists did not pay any attention, if they did not notice about it, then the answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether the scientists were worried or not, then the answer is not given. Let's go back. Question number 9, second last paragraph. However, there seems to have been little public pressure to preserve the thylacine. Understand this sentence? They say, however, there seems to have been little public pressure to preserve the thylacine, nor was much concern expressed by scientists. So what does it mean? Scientists were not worried. When they use the word concerned, they use the word nor was much concern expressed by scientists. So when scientists were not concerned, they were not worried. So the answer is false. If you do IELTS reading logically with understanding, believe me, it's going to be easier for you. And if you're going to move here and there for answer of question number 1, for example, you are reading middle paragraph, then you read another paragraph, then you read more. In IELTS reading, when you start reading more, you will start getting confused and then you will never find the answers, okay? So be careful. Have you noticed one thing? We are reading only 1 to 2 lines. For each answer, we are reading 1 to 2 lines. And how do we reach there? We read the question. From the question, we find the clue word and we go there, okay? Let's go on. Question number 10. TT flying. Now, what's the clue word? T.T. Flynn's proposal to rehome captive Thylacines. Rehome means bring them back. For example, in Pakistan, there is a place called Kalar Kohar. And once upon a time, there used to be peacocks there. Now they have just few peacocks. So rehome means we bring some peacocks and leave them there. That means rehome. So T.T. Flynn's proposal to rehome captive Thylacines on an island proved to be impractical. Now listen, if his proposal was practical, answer is false. If his proposal was impractical means not practical, answer is true. And if they don't tell us, they talk about his proposal, but they don't tell us whether it was practical or impractical and all that, then the answer is not given. Now let's go back. Third line. Second last paragraph, third line. A notable exception was T.T. Flynn, professor of biology at the University of Tasmania. In 1914, he was sufficiently concerned about the scarcity of the thylacine to suggest that some should be captured and placed on a small island. But it was not until 1929, with the species on the very edge of extinction, that Tasmania's Animal and Birds Protection Board passed blah 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 blah. See that? They did not mention anything whether his proposal was practical or impractical. Now have you noticed one thing? Just one word. Practical or impractical, or no mention of that very thing, which decided the answer is true, false or not given. So question number 10, answer is not given. Okay, question number 11 please. There were still reasonable numbers of thylacine. Underline, still reasonable number of thylacines in existence when a piece of legislation protecting the species during their breeding season was passed. Okay, now listen. They made a legislation that during the breeding season of thylacine, they will not kill them. Okay, what was the law? The law when a piece of legislation protecting the species during their breeding season was passed. Now, when they passed the law, try to understand the question. When they passed the law, there were still reasonable numbers of thylacine. Now, if when they passed the law, there were reasonable number of thylacines, answer is yes. If at that time there were just few or small number of thylacines, then the answer is false. And if they don't tell us when they passed the law there was reasonable number or small number, then the answer is not given. So please let's come back. Same paragraph. Look for the word law, legislation and all that. Yes, I'm reading second last paragraph from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line, but it was not until 1929. Found it? Okay. Alright. So let's read from here. But it was not until 1929 when the species on the very edge of extinction. What does it mean? Few. Small number. Very edge of extinction. Okay. Extinction. That Tasmania's Animal and Birds Protection Board passed a motion protecting thylacine only for the month of December, which was thought to be their prime breeding season. So what happened? There was significant number or just what? What is the question? There were still reasonable numbers. मैंने नहर में धक्का दे देने जो true की आवाज निकाल रहे हैं. Listen, still reasonable number, and over there they say they were on the brink of becoming extinct. Extinct का मतलब होता है नापैद हो जाना, खत्म हो जाना. Like dinosaurs are extinct now. So over here they say reasonable number of animals. In the passage they say they were becoming extinct. This information is contradictory. So the answer is false. Answer is false. Okay. कहीं शायद कुछ और आ गया मार्केट में नया है. Okay, question number 12 please. Question number 12. From 1930 to 1936, the only known living thylacines were all in captivity. In true false not given, word all is very dangerous. Encircle all. And imagine the question, 1930s to 1936, that is your clue word. Now they say only known living thylacines were all in captivity. Now listen, if only known thylacines were all in captivity, answer is true. If some were in the jungle and some were in captivity, it means not all. If they use the word majority of them, they were in captivity. Now majority does not mean all. Okay, you just have to focus the word all. Let's go back. Same paragraph, and you see the word 1930. I'm reading it from fourth last line. The last known wild thylacine to be killed was shot by a farmer in the northeast of Tasmania. What does it mean? Farmer ne to maar diya. Okay. All right. They say, I'm reading this one again. The last known wild thylacine to be killed was shot by a farmer in the northeast of Tasmania in 1930, leaving just captive specimens. Official protection of the species by Tasmanian government was introduced in July 1936, 15 days before the last known individual died in Hobart Zoo. So last one also died in Hobart Zoo. Now please come back. Wait a minute, let's read the question, then we decide. From 1930 to 1936, the only known living thylacine were all in captivity. Now listen, how many were left? Okay, so please come back here. What do they say? We read it again. They said here, after this, the last known wild thylacine. Last known, that was wild thylacine, but we are looking for thylacine in captivity, in the zoo. To be killed was farmer. Then they say, leaving just captive specimens. Now what are those captive specimens? Official protection of the species by Tasmanian government was introduced in July. Then they say 59 days before the last known individual died. Last known individual died in Hobart Zoo. So what does that mean? Only known living thylacine were all in captivity. All in captivity means they had only one. So that one was all. So the answer is true. Read again if you think it is false. Just focus the word all. And for all, they only said the last one. See, last known individual. Okay, underline the word last known individual. Last known individual means all. Clear? Last known individual, that means all. Yes, please. Yeah? No, but when we come to the, no, that we are not reading about that. That was killed by a farmer. We are not reading about that. We are reading the last line, where they say last known individual died in Hobart Zoo. We are reading that one, okay? So the answer is true. Okay, let's go on. Yes, the only living thylacine were all in captivity. So that was in captivity.
Farmer killed in 1930.
Yeah?
It must be included in that.
It is included, yeah. Okay, let's go on. Please come to question number 13. When they say 1936 July, so that includes it. Huh? क्यों नहीं थे? पढ़े तो सही. क्या लिखा हुआ है? लास्ट नोन इंडिविजुअल डाइड इन होबार्ट जू. जू किसको कहते हैं? हाँ? That was killed by a farmer. We are not talking about that. उसके साथ क्या लिखा हुआ है? देखें, wild thylacine. We are not concerned about wild thylacine. What are we concerned about?
It's about the type actually, wild type and
Wild is not in the zoo, but we are concerned about the thylacine in the zoo. Yeah. Okay. And by the way, if you are confused, it's your own confusion. In IELTS reading, it's all clear. अगर आपको लग रहा है ना, वो आपको ही लग रहा है. Okay. Yes. Let's go on. Question number 13. Attempts to find living thylacines are now rarely made. Okay, attempts to find living thylacines. Now means present. Okay, now if they say attempts to find living thylacines are now rarely made, means just sometimes they try to find thylacine, otherwise they don't make any attempt. Attempt means koshish, try. Last paragraph. There have been numerous expeditions, underline numerous expeditions, and searches for thylacine over the years, none of which has produced definitive evidence that thylacine still exists. The species, focus this line, the species was declared extinct by Tasmanian government in 1886. Now listen, you guys know, look here, try to understand. You guys know dinosaur is an extinct. Now, are there any scientists who are searching for dinosaurs on planet Earth? No, because it is confirmed extinct. So they say here, the species was declared extinct by Tasmanian government in 1986. When something becomes extinct, then why will people go and find it? Question number 13. Attempts to find living thylacines are now rarely made. Very technical question. What is the answer? Excellent, not given. Because they did not tell us. Now they say the animal has become extinct. So when some animal has become extinct, they will not look for it.
Last paragraph mein, there have been numerous expeditions.
Past tense, sir. Past tense. No, just a second. He's right. Listen, in the question they have used the word now. Try to understand my point. Now means present. There have been numerous expeditions means past. हाँ जी, हाँ ये ऐसी करूं पढ़ के आने ठीक है, all good, thank you. Okay guys, now let's move on. It's reading passage 2 and the title is palm oil, Sufi canola. Alright, so palm oil is the topic and you know this oil already, like it's a cooking oil. Palm oil we use in our everyday household and all that. You can see the passage is labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Whenever passage is labeled, it means there will be type 2 questions. Got it? Whenever passage is labeled, it means there will be type 2 questions. One type 2 question is list of headings and second one is which paragraph contains the following information. Now, please come to the passage, to the questions. Questions 14 to 20. Reading passage 2 has 8 sections A to H. Which section contains the following information? Got it? This is type B and you will do it in the end. If you start with this question, wow, amazing thing will happen. You will lose your mind. At the end, good questions like 21, 22, 23, 26, you will not be able to do them. So it's very important to decide from which question type you are going to start. Now please come to questions 21 and 22. Choose 2 letters. This is what we call multiple choice, where out of 5 options you have to select 2 options. So I will recommend you to do it at the second place. And then we have questions 23 to 26. And what is that? Complete the sentences below. And which type is it? Type A. Always start with type A questions and then you can move on to type B questions. And in type A also, the ones that are easiest ones start from there. So where should we start from? 23 to 26. Let's start. Complete the sentences below. Choose no more than. Now, how many words? 2 words this time. Okay, sir? Now 2 words. Now 2 words doesn't mean every time 2 words. It means minimum 1 word, maximum 2 words. Write your answers in boxes 23 to 26 on your answer sheet. Question number 23. One advantage of palm oil for manufacturers is that. Now what's the question? One advantage for palm oil manufacturer is that it stays. What does it mean? Palm oil. It stays or palm oil stays dash even when not refrigerated. Now look for the word refrigeration, manufacturers, and by the way, start looking for answers from the first paragraph. Because usually the answers come from first paragraph of this type of questions. First paragraph. Found the word manufacturers? Okay, now please follow me and listen. Look here, look here. Your first target should be to find the location of your answer. Okay, and exact location, first paragraph, second that line, and then start reading. Now I'm going to read it from fourth line. Why is palm oil so attractive for manufacturers? Primarily because its unique properties such as remaining solid at room temperature. Now room temperature means not refrigerated, remaining solid. Now remaining solid means it stays solid. For stays they use the word remains or remaining. Answer is solid. Got it? Yeah? Good. Clear to everyone? Good. Question number 24. The dash is the best known of the animals. Now answer is going to be the name of animals. The dash is the best known of the animals suffering habitat loss as a result of the spread of oil palm plantations. Now there is one animal which is losing its habitat. Habitat is a place for living for the animals. So let's go back. We are going to look for an animal which is losing its habitat. Look for the word habitat or any other word like that. Go on to paragraph B and C. Okay, why C paragraph? Because they use the word species and all that. Okay, now all of you please come to paragraph C and third last line, endangered species. Got it? Listen, look here now. The clue word is animal. So you will look for a paragraph where they have mentioned the name of the animal or they have used the word species. So I'm reading it from paragraph C, third last line. Endangered species, most famously the Sumatran orangutan. Now see, when they use the word endangered species, it's understood that Sumatran orangutan is an animal. Even if you don't know the meaning, you can Google it and you'll say, "Acha bandar hai." Right? Whatever the animal is, doesn't matter. Sumatran orangutan, but also, now listen, but also rhinos, elephants, tigers, and numerous other fauna. Now tell me why elephants, rhinos, and tigers are not the answer. Because they use the, no, it's not that. They use the word, the dash is the best known, and for best known they use the word most famously. जिसको ये चीजें समझ आ गई, रीडिंग प्रॉब्लम नहीं रहेगी. ठीक है? The best known and most famously, and be careful when you write the spelling of Sumatran orangutan. Got it? Yeah. Sumatran orangutan. किसी का नेट चल रहा है, जरा तस्वीर निकालें इस जानवर की, बाकी भी देख लें. Okay, let's go on. Question number 25. As one of its criteria for the certification of sustainable palm oil, the RSPO, what is the clue word? Now, RSPO means one of their criterias for certification. RSPO insists that growers check dash on a routine basis. Now, there is something that growers need to check on routine basis. What is it that they need to check? Paragraph G. Okay, and on routine basis, listen. Check on routine basis. For that they use the word regular assessment. Regular assessment. Paragraph G. Found the word regular assessment? Yes, fourth last line. Now all of you please come to fifth last line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paragraph G, fifth last line from the middle. The RSPO. Found it? And insist. And by the way, in question also they use the word insists. Have they? Yeah, insist. They use the same word. Okay, let's read it. Please follow me. Paragraph G, I'm reading it from 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line. RSPO insists upon no virgin forest clearing, transparency and regular assessment of Carbon stocks. Now what is the word for regular assessment in the question? Check dash on routine basis. So what do they check on routine basis? Carbon stocks. Only stocks will be the wrong answer because it does not define carbon. So the correct answer is carbon stocks. Question number 26. Elwood and his researchers. What's the clue word? Elwood. Find it. Where is Elwood? Well done. Now come back. We read the question. Question number 26. Please follow me, all of you. Elwood and his researchers are looking into whether the bird's nest fern could restore dash. Bird nest fern could restore dash in areas where oil palm trees are grown. Now the clue word is bird's nest fern. It's something. Could restore something. Alright, let's come to this. Have you found the word bird's nest fern? Okay, now listen. Whenever you find the word, try to go back to last full stop and read from there. So the last full stop is Elwood believes. Paragraph H, fourth last line. All of you are there? Yeah? Paragraph H for horse, fourth last line. Elwood believes. Mil gaya? Come on. Make sure your neighbors found it. Okay. Elwood believes that reintroducing the bird's nest fern into oil palm plantations could potentially allow these areas to recover their biodiversity. To recover their biodiversity. And what is the word for recover? Excellent. That's right. In the question they use the word restored. In the passage they use the word recovered. And the answer is biodiversity. All right. ठीक हो गया ना? अब जरा देखें, आपने 4 क्वेश्चंस का आंसर कर लिया और अगर आप स्टार्ट करते 14 से 20 तक, इतना, क्योंकि 14 से 20 तक जो क्वेश्चन है उसके लिए आपको पूरे पैसेज, हर क्वेश्चन के लिए पूरे पैसेज पे जाना है, हर क्वेश्चन के लिए. तो जब आप अगर स्टार्ट वहां से करेंगे तो जो बेचारे आसान वाले हैं वो भी इग्नोर हो जाएंगे. ठीक है? हो जाए. Okay guys, now we do questions 21 and 22. And again, the location of questions 21 and 2, that can be one paragraph where you will find these two answers. Write the correct letters in boxes 21 and 22 on your answer sheet. Which two statements are made about round table on sustainable palm oil? Underline round table on sustainable palm oil. Two statements are made. Now listen. Will you read all the options A, B, C, D, E? Not at all. You will waste your time. First of all, we are going to find where have they given statements about the round table on sustainable palm oil. Paragraph. Okay. All right. Please come to paragraph G and now listen. Both answers are going to be here. So what you have to do, you're going to skim read paragraph G. Skim read with retention. Retention means you will understand and retains, you will actually store some information and then we'll go back. So listen, we just read it together. Industry is now regulated by a group called Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil. And they said two statements. What is the question? Two statements are made. So we will look for those statements. Okay, consisting of palm oil growers, retailers, produce manufacturers and other interested parties. Now please read from here. Over the past decades or so, an agreement has gradually been reached regarding standards that producers of palm oil have to meet. What is one statement? Standards that palm oil producers have to meet in order for their product to be regarded as officially sustainable. So what is the first statement? The statement is the producers of palm oil, they have to meet certain regulations in order for their product to be regarded as officially sustainable. Now please come back. Option A. Its membership has grown steadily. No, they didn't mention that. Option B, it demands that certified producers can open and honest about their practices. No. C, it took several years to establish its set of criteria for sustainable palm oil certification. Now, what is that? Standard. They use the word regarding standards that producers of palm oil have to meet in order for their product to be regarded as officially sustainable. When the product is regarded, it means the product is certified. So, for question number 21 or 22, answer is C. It took several years to establish its set of criteria for sustainable palm oil. Okay, now let's go on. Now we read ahead of it. After sustainable, the RSPO, found it? The RSPO insists upon no virgin forest clearing. Virgin forest means a forest which has not been cut before. So no clearing the forest. What are they doing? They are cutting the forest and there they are growing palm oil. So many different species of animals, they are becoming homeless. Right? So they say transparency and regular assessment of carbon stocks among other criteria. What are two criterias? Transparency and regular assessment of carbon stocks. Come back. Transparency and regular check of carbon stocks. Transparency. Transparency means being honest. When you are honest about something, you are transparent. Option B. It demands that certified producers be open and honest. Now go back and see what is the word for open. Transparency and regular assessment of carbon stocks among other criteria. So no virgin forest clearing, that is very clear, and transparency is for honest and regular assessment of carbon stocks. So that is option B. It demands that certified producers be open and honest about their practices. So for question number 21, answer can be B, 22, answer can be C, or you can write in any order. Listen, for double multiple choice questions, you can write your answer in any order. Like 21 is B, 22 is C, both ways it's going to be right, okay? Alright, okay guys, now we are going to do another confusing question type, which is type B. And by the way, type B questions will be just, it depends on your luck. Whenever students complain reading was very difficult, it means there were more type B questions. And if there are more type A questions, then reading is going to be fine, okay? In part 1, mostly they give you type A questions. But if you are unlucky, part 1 starts with list of headings. Okay, part 1 starts with which paragraph contains the following information, okay? So don't worry. Now, which paragraph contains the following information? Please listen. First, bhashan. Bhashan is this. Whenever they give you which paragraph contains the following information, they give you a sentence or a phrase. In the passage, exactly there is a similar sentence or similar phrase, and you have to match them. That's it. Okay? But you know, finding one sentence from all the passage when they have replaced the words all together is not an easy job. So that is why do it at the end, because then you'll be familiar with the passage. Now at least we are familiar with this palm oil because we have already done 21, 22, 23 to 26. So we are familiar. Now let's start. Question number 14. Examples of a range of potential environmental advantages. Underline underline examples and then range of potential environmental advantages of oil palm cultivation. Now find a paragraph where they talk about oil palm cultivation and environmental advantages, like environment is good for that, environmental benefits, environmental advantages and all that. Look for the word ecological, look for the word benefit, Environmental advantages, ecological benefit. Scan it. Scan it. Ecological benefit. That's right. Everyone, please come to paragraph F, and I'm reading it from third line. Oh, bas kar ja. Paragraph F from third line. Paragraph F, third line. After full stop, that immensely high yield, which is predominantly what makes it so profitable, is potentially also an ecological benefit. Now, when they say potentially ecological benefit, and by the way, if you come to the second paragraph of F, second paragraph of F, third line, after full stop, the more carbon a plant sequesters, the more it reduces the effect of climate change. So this is one ecological benefit, and the other one is given in paragraph F, the first part. So question is examples of a range of potential. For range, they have given two examples. Come back, please. Come back to paragraph F. What is one example? One example is potentially also an ecological benefit. And second example is the more carbon a plant sequesters, the more it reduces the effect of climate change. So these are two benefits. For question number 14, correct answer is F. Now one paragraph may contain two options as well. Let's go on. Question number 15. Description of an organization, you know it already. Description of an organization which controls the environmental impact of palm oil production. G. And see that? Now this is the benefit of doing other questions first and doing this one at the end. What is that organization? RSPO. That is the organization, and they have described this organization. So some questions are easier, and again I'm telling you, do it in the end. Never start with it. If you start with it, dimag gaya khali. Yeah. Let's go on. Question number 16. Examples of the widespread global use of palm oil. Very simple. Look here. They will say palm oil is used at home for cooking. Palm oil is used in industry for making soap. Palm oil is used for making shampoo and all that. Examples of widespread global use of palm oil. They will talk about different countries as well. A. Good. All right. See that? Palm oil is an edible oil derived from the fruit of an African oil palm tree. And then what do they say? Come to second line. It's almost certainly in the soap we wash with in the morning, the sandwich we have to for lunch, and the biscuit we snack. So biscuits, soap, and sandwich. Okay, biscuit, soap, and sandwich. And these are the uses of palm oil. And by the way, can you find anything which tells us about description? Which tells us widespread global. Okay, can you see anything global? Huh? Where is it? Which line? Second line. All right. In the word, absolutely. Clear? And one more thing, when you read this sometimes, and one more thing you got to do, important one. When you read a statement, you should just think that such type of statements usually come in the beginning. Because when they talk about palm oil, in the beginning they tell us about the uses. And if there is any question about future, they mostly talk about future in the end. Okay, so this thing will help you as well. Question number 17. Reference to a particular species. Now we don't know birds, animals, or whatever. Reference to a particular species which could benefit the ecosystem of oil palm plantations. Why? What do they talk about? Which species? Birds, nest, fern. That is the species, absolutely. It's paragraph H. See that the benefit of doing other questions first, you are quite familiar with the passage and you can do it easily. Paragraph H, third line. The bird's nest fern, they've given the name, biological name, grows on trees, is an epiphytic fashion, meaning it's dependent on the tree only for support, not for nutrients and is native to many tropical regions. So that's the species, and the answer for question number 17 is H. Question number 18, please. Figures, very simple. Look for a paragraph with numbers. Whenever they say figures illustrating the rapid expansion of palm oil industry, figures. Yeah, see that? Figures illustrating the rapid expansion. Figures means numbers. Yeah. Rapid expansion of the palm oil industry. Paragraph B. And what are the figures? 6 to 17 million hectares. Got it? See, sometimes it's this easy. Okay, now if you find figures in 2 paragraphs, then what do you have to do? Read the question again. Come back to question. Figures illustrating rapid expansion. Now, rapid expansion, that is going to be in hectares. Do you understand? Hectares. It's just like you are measuring the land. So, land is measured in hectares. So, that is why for question number 18, right answer is B. Listen, I told you the point. Do you understand? It's just not the numbers, because they use the word rapid expansion. So expansion of palm oil industry on land, it means they might use the word hectares or any other word. Question number 19. Economic justification for not opposing the palm oil industry. Economic justification, that it is giving profits to the country or it is the backbone of a country. That's why they should not oppose palm oil industry. Okay, well done. Come to paragraph E. One response to the boycott movement. And for that they use the word opposing the palm oil industry. Opposing means like the boycott and all that. One response to the boycott movement has been the argument for the vital role palm oil plays in lifting many millions of people in the developing world out of poverty. Now see that, one sentence only. Now what is it? Come back to the question. Economic justification. What is economic justification here? Developing world out of poverty. That is their economic justification. And what else they mentioned here? For not opposing the palm oil industry. Very simple. One response to the boycott movement has been. Boycott movement has been means not opposing the palm oil industry. And what is that? In developing country or developing world, it takes people out of poverty. So question number 19, answer is E. Just underline it and go back home, read it again and you'll find it. Do it individually as well. Question number 20, examples of creatures badly affected by the establishment of palm oil plantations. Example of creatures, names of animals. C. Why C? Elephants, tigers, rhino, Sumatran orangutan or whatever, okay? See, so see that? It's not that difficult. For question number 20, answer is C. So if you do it in the end, then you will be familiar with the passage. You can do it easily. Many questions you will answer without even going to the passage. Right? Got it? Okay, thank you. Okay guys, reading passage 3. Title, Building the Skyline. ऐसे पुट्ठे टॉपिक्स लेके आते हैं ना, but they are very interesting. Now I've started to take interest. This is the latest book and I've solved all the tests. And I really enjoy going through these tests. Building the Skyline. The birth and growth of Manhattan's skyscrapers. Where is Manhattan? In New York, in America. Alright? Yeah. Don't say, Sade pind de naal duja pind Manhattan. Okay? So, the birth and growth of Manhattan skyscrapers. And then there is another subtitle, Catherine L. Chester reviews a book by Jason. Okay, Building the Skyline, Birth and Growth of Manhattan Skyscrapers. It's a very useful book. कितने लोगों ने पढ़ी हुई है? किसी ने भी नहीं पढ़ी? मैंने भी नहीं पढ़ी. Okay, it's a very useful book. Okay, don't read it. All right. So what does it mean? We have a book review. What do we have? A book review. And what is the book about? Building the Skyline, and the book is about skyscrapers of Manhattan. What is skyscraper? Tall building. Like in Pakistan, we've got Arfa Karim Tower. That is a skyscraper. Okay, and there are many more buildings like that. So Manhattan's skyscrapers. Now come to questions. Multiple choice. Multiple choice. Questions 27 to 31. Sidha okay be? Questions and answers are in order. Yes. Questions 32 to 35. Yes, no, not given. Questions and answers are in order. Questions 36 to 40. Summary completion. Questions and answers are. Wow. Sukhi ho gaya kaam. Yeah? All are in order. Abhi karenge to maut padegi. Okay? For now it's okay. All right. Where should we start from? Let's start from multiple choice. Okay? We start from multiple choice because, but anyways, I would recommend you to start from 36 to 40, then do 32 to 35, and then do 27 to 31. Okay? But we start from question number 27. What point does Chester make? Underline Chester. You know Chester? Yasin de Mamedi Kudi. What point does Chester make about Barr's book? Whose book? Barr. Do you know Barr? Chache da munda. Okay. In the first paragraph. Now look here. Question now. What point does Chester make? Chester may be the writer of this review. What point does Chester make about Barr's book? The review of the book was written by Barr. Barr's book means Barr is the author of the book and Chester is the reviewer of the book. So what point does Chester make about Barr's book in the first paragraph? Wow, they're so good. They mentioned first paragraph. If they mention first paragraph, second line. Yeah, it's going to be even easier than that. Now, come back. First paragraph. What point they make? I'm reading first paragraph from the beginning. In Building the Skyline, Jason Barr takes the reader through the detailed history of New York City. The book combines geology, history, economics, and a lot of data to explain why business clusters developed, where they did, and how the early decision of workers and firms shaped the skyline. Now just focus why, then focus how. Okay, why and how, and the firms shape the skyline we see today. So they talk about why and how. Option A. Now listen, after this you will read the options, and by the way, wrong options automatically you are going to eliminate. Yes. No, I mean we got the point. I tell you, in the beginning they mentioned, and the most important thing is why and how. Now I'm going to link it with the answer, why and how. I got it already. It gives a highly original explanation for urban development. No. Option B. Elements of Barr's research papers are incorporated throughout the book. No. Now C, chance is 50-50. And best way is elimination. Elimination means wrong one out. Okay. Option C. Other books that are available on the subject have taken a different approach. There is no mention of other books. Option D, it covers a range of factors that affected the development of New York. Now come back. What are the range of factors? Yeah, they mentioned that why business clusters development, where they did. Now why, where, how. So they are range of factors. So for question number 27, correct answer is D for doctor. Clear? You can do it when you do it at home, you will understand it better because you are repeating it. So when you repeat the test, you understand things better, all right? Question number 28. How does Chester respond to the information in the book about tenements? Now, what's the clue word? Tenements. Now, let's look for how does Chester respond? So, answer of Chester to the information in the book about tenements. Please come back. Tenements, where do you find? Third paragraph. Okay. Now, please come to third line of third paragraph. Got it? Third line of third paragraph. Both chapters are informative. Got it? Now, let's read it carefully from here. Both chapters are informative and well researched and set the stage for the economic analysis that comes later in the book. I would have liked, now focus this thing. I means reviewer. I would have liked Barr to expand upon his claim that existing tenements prevented skyscrapers in certain neighborhoods because, and then there is the reason. What does the reviewer say? I would have liked Barr to expand upon his claim. Now it means Barr claimed about something, but he did not elaborate that. He did not expand it on that. So the writer says, I would have liked Barr to expand upon his claim that existing tenements prevented skyscrapers in certain neighborhoods. It means there is little information about existing tenements. So I would have liked him to explain more. Come back, please. Option A, she describes the reason for Barr's interest. No. Option B, she indicates a potential problem with Barr's analysis. C, she compares Barr's conclusion with that of other writers. No. Option D, she provides details about the source Barr used for his research. No. Okay, now come back. If you still don't find it, you've got to come back to the passage. Please come back to the passage. We read it again from here. Both chapters are informative and well researched. Focus it. Both chapters are informative and well researched and set the stage for the economic analysis that comes later in the book. So, all right, option B, she indicates a potential problem. What is that potential problem? Not? Absolutely, with Barr's analysis. So please come back. This is set the stage for economic analysis that comes later in the book. I would have liked Barr to expand on his claim. So he explains later in the book, but she wanted that explanation first. That's why she indicates a potential problem with Barr's analysis. And what is that problem? Not? Absolutely. This thing, Barr to expand upon his claim. So that is the problem that existing tenements prevented. Correct answer is option B. Sometimes when you eliminate wrong choices, you are left with the right answer. And sometimes if you don't read carefully, first of all, you will eliminate the right answer. Okay? You will say, "Ye to hai hi nahi," aur wahi answer hota hai. So be careful. Question 29. What does Chester say about chapter 6 of the book? What's the clue word? Yes, chapter 6. What does Chester say about chapter 6 of the book? Second page, third paragraph. Chapter 6, fourth last line. Got it? Second page, third paragraph, 1, 2, 3, fourth last line. Now what does Chester say? Chapter 6 then presents data on building height throughout the 20th century and uses regression analysis to predict building construction, while less technical than the research paper on which the chapter is based. So while less technical than the research paper on which the chapter is based, it is probable more technical than would be preferred by a general audience. So what is it? More technical than would be preferred by a general audience. She says chapter 6 is more technical, while less technical than the research paper. Okay, listen. Chapter 6 is based on a research paper. That research paper is very technical. Chapter 6 is less technical than the research paper which the chapter is based. It is probably more technical than would be preferred by a general audience. So for general audience, still it is technical. Come back. Question number 29. A, it contains conflicting data. Data is used, but conflicting word is not given. So A is not the right answer. B, it focuses too much on possible trends. No, it does not. They talked about possible trends, that they were building high buildings. So it's not that. Option C, it is too specialized for most readers. Now listen, what is the word for too specialized? Technical. Too specialized, for that they use the word here, more technical than would be preferred by general audience. General audience means readers, right? So more technical, and for that they use the word too specialized. So for question number 29, correct answer is C. Let's go on. Question number 30. What does Chester suggest? Underline Chester suggest. What does Chester suggest about the chapters focusing on 1920s building boom? Now, clue word is 1920s building boom. Well done. And the question is, what does Chester suggest? Please come to second last paragraph. Chapter 8 and 9 focus on the birth of Midtown and building boom of the 1920s. Chapter 8 contains lengthy discussions of urban economic theory that may serve as a distraction. Now, this may serve as a distraction to readers primarily interested in New York. So that chapter is a distraction for the readers who are primarily interested in New York. Come back. What does Chester suggest about the chapters focusing 1920s building? Option A, information should have been organized. No. Option B, more facts are needed about the way construction was financed. Not at all. Some options are no, some options are not at all, some options are maybe, some options are yes. Okay. Option C, explanation that is given for the building boom is unlikely. Explanation is given, but they didn't mention it is unlikely. Option D, some parts will have limited appeal to certain people. Now let's go back. Focus, limited appeal to certain people. What is that? Readers primarily interested in New York. Readers, for readers they use the word certain people. For limited appeal, they use the word interested in New York. This is high level English, you have to understand. You're doing academic IELTS reading part 3. So listen again. For readers, what is the word they used? Certain people. Okay, certain people is used for readers. And limited appeal. What is limited appeal? Interested in New York. For example, if I am interested in New York, it means I've got limited appeal. Right? Just like that. So to readers primarily interested in New York, for that question number 30, correct answer is D. Question number 31. What impresses Chester the most? Underline impresses Chester the most about the chapter on land values. What's the clue word? Okay, what impresses Chester the most? And she will use any word for most and what I was impressed most by and all that. So please come back. Last paragraph. Okay, I'm reading in the final chapter, chapter 10, Bart discusses another of his, is it chapter 10? Chapter on land values. Okay, now let's see. Do we have the word land values? Fourth line. Okay, now let's read it from here. In the final chapter, chapter 10, Bart discusses another of his empirical papers that estimates Manhattan land values from the mid-19th century to the present day. The data work that went into these estimations is particularly impressive. What is impressive particularly? Data. Let's go on. Toward the end of the chapter, Bart assesses whether skyscrapers are a cause or an effect of high land value. Are they the reason for high land value, or are they the cause of that? Cause or effect of that? He finds that changes in land value predict future building height. Let's go back. Okay, option A, broad time period that is covered. No. Option B, interesting questions that Bart asks. This is not given. Now we are left with C and D. Be careful. Nature of the research into the topic. D. Recommendations bar makes for the future. Okay, now let's come back. They say the book ends with an epilogue in which Bar discusses the impact of climate change on the city. There is no future. There is anything about future. So please come back to the question 31. Correct answer is C. Nature of the research. Let's find it. Nature of the research into the topic. What is the nature of the research? Data work. Got it? Data work is actually the nature. Data work that went into these estimations is particularly impressive. So data work is the nature of research. For question number 31, correct answer is C. Alright. हम लोग 12 बजे तक क्लास कर रहे हैं रात के. ठीक है, अब सुबह 12 बजे तो आपने आना है ना. ठीक है, बुला रहा है आपको. बुला रहे आपको भाई. ओके, राइट. So let's go on. Questions 36 to 40. And this is summary completion. And summary completion is easier if they don't give you list of words. There are two types of summary completion. One, they give you list of words, that is more complicated. And one, without list of words, for that you have to pick up a word and just write the word down there. But anyways, let's see. What's the topic? The bedrock myth. So the good thing is questions and answers are in order. And how many paragraphs are there in the questions? 2 paragraphs. It means you need to go to 2 locations. If there is 1 paragraph, you will find all answers in 1 paragraph. If there are 2 separate paragraphs, you will find the answers in 2 separate paragraphs. So anyways, let's see. Let's read the question first. Bedrock myth. Where do they talk about bedrock myth? Okay, it's the third last paragraph of the passage where they talk about bedrock myth. So luckily we will find the answers here. Is this clear? Alright, now please come to questions. In chapter 7, what have they mentioned? Chapter 7, bar indicates how the lack of bedrock close to the surface does not explain why skyscrapers are absent from dash. Underline, why skyscrapers are absent from dash. Why skyscrapers are absent from. Focus the word absent from. Please come back. Third last paragraph. I'm reading from beginning. Found it? Chapters 7 tackle the bedrock myth, the assumption that the absence of bedrock close to the surface between downtown and midtown New York is the reason for skyscrapers not being built between the 2 urban centers. Not being built between the 2 urban centers. Come back. 2 urban centers. So why skyscrapers are absent from 2 urban centers? Now please find a synonym of 2 urban centers. 2 urban centers. Yes, well done. Option H. For 2 urban centers, they have used specific areas. So what will be the answer? Answer will not be specific areas. Answer will be H. Well done. Let's go on. He points out that although the cost of foundations increases when bedrock is deep below the surface, this cannot be regarded as, underline, cannot be regarded as. Now this means bedrock cannot be regarded as. Come back. Same paragraph. After 2 urban centers. Rather, Barr argues that while deeper bedrock does increase foundation cost, these costs were neither prohibitively high nor were they large compared to the overall cost. Compared to the overall cost. Now come back. Look for something prohibitively high. They use the word prohibitively high. Okay, prohibitively high. Option D, excessive expense. When something is prohibitively high means very, very high. So that is option D, excessive expense. They cannot be regarded as prohibitively high, and for that they said excessive expense, especially when compared to. Now when compared to dash, go back, same line. When compared to dash, very good. Compared to the overall cost. Now find a word for overall cost. Well done. Overall cost, I, total expenditure. Got it? This is what they are checking in reading. Overall cost and total expenditures. Okay, a particularly enjoyable part of the chapter was Barr's account of how foundations are built. He describes not only how dash are made possible by the use of cations. Now find the word cation, and he describes not only how dash are made possible. Same paragraph. Okay, I'm reading it after overall cost. What I enjoyed the most about this chapter was Barr's discussion. Mil gaya? Okay, Barr's discussion of how foundations are actually built. He describes the use of cations which enable workers to dig down. Cations enable workers to dig down. Come back here. He describes not only how dash are made possible. What is made possible? Dig down. What is the word for dig down? Dig down is deep excavation. Excavation means khudai. Dig means khudai. Right? So, dig down, and for that they use the word deep excavations. Got it? Now this is what they are checking, high level vocabulary. And those who don't know these things, they will be helpless. Bebas ho jayenge. Ai, bas, khatam. But through practice, IELTS, listen, IELTS prepares you for IELTS. Cambridge IELTS books improve your reading, writing, listening, speaking, and then you are ready for the test, right? So IELTS will improve your overall English as well. Question number 40. But he also discusses there. There means cations. Exactly. There means cations. But he also discusses their dash. Cations something. Come back to same paragraph. Okay, I'm reading dig down. Dig down मिल गया सबको? Dig down से आगे चलते हैं. For considerable distance after below the water table until they reach bedrock. Barrs through technological history discusses not only how cations work but also the dangers involved. First they talk about how they work, but also the dangers involved. Now word for dangers involved. F, associated risks. For involved they use the word associated. For dangers they use the word risks. So for question number 40, answer is F. 36H, 37D, 39B, and 40F. Okay? Alright. Okay guys, now please come to questions 32 to 35. Yes, no, not given. So we start. Do the following statements agree with the claims of the writer? Underline claims of the writer. Claims of the, and in true, false, not given, we've got factual information. In yes, no, not given, we've got claims of the writer. Okay, questions and answers are in order. Question number 32. Description in first chapter. Underline description, first chapter, of how New York probably looked from the air in the early 1600s lacks interest. Now listen. What's the clue word? 1600s. First chapter, how New York looks in the air. In the air means from aeroplane, from helicopter. And that lacks interest. Look here, look here. Only these two words will decide. Lacks interest. If that chapter is most interesting, answer is false or no. If that lacks interest, it's boring, then answer is yes. And if they don't tell us whether it lacks interest or it is more interesting, then it is not given. So please come back. Second paragraph. Bar begins chapter 1 by taking the reader on a helicopter time machine ride, giving a fascinating account. Now, fascinating account. And over here they use the word lacks interest. True, false तो हम कर ही नहीं रहे. No. This is a very common mistake students do. For yes they write true, for no they write false. At the end they say, oh hi, my reading went very well. Okay, your answer will be wrong if you write true, false for yes, no and all that. Okay, so lacks interest, and there they say fascinating account. Fascinating means interesting. It does not lack interest. So question number 32 answer is no. 33 now. Chapters 2 and 3 prepare the reader well for material yet to come. Chapters 2 and 3, come back. Chapters 2 and 3. Yeah, chapters 2 and 3. It's the third paragraph. And please come to third line. Both chapters. Found it? Third line, both chapters. Now what does both chapters mean? Chapters 2 and 3. Both chapters are informative and well researched and set the stage for the economic analysis that comes later in the book. So these two chapters prepare the readers for the next chapter that comes in the book. Chapters 2 and 3 prepare the reader well for material yet to come. What is material yet to come? The next chapters. Okay, answer is yeah. मैं थल्ले अब कहाँ ना true, पर मैं कौ खाऊंगा. All right, let's go on. The biggest problem, underline biggest problem. Yasin was a naswar leke aana. You know, have chundi and then start reading. No problem. Yeah. और नहीं वापस आ जा. वाकई ना लिया naswar. Once I did in one of the videos, there was the candy and I did it like this and I put it there. Actually it was candy, but I took it the way naswar is taken, but then I gave the clarification it's not naswar. I don't smoke, I don't take anything like that. सिर्फ खाना खाता हूँ, पानी पीता हूँ, बस. That's it. हल्का फुल्का नाश्ता कर लेता हूँ. Okay, question number 34. Biggest problem for many 19th century New York immigrants. Underline biggest problem and then 19th century New York immigrant neighborhoods was lack of amenities. Look here. What are amenities? Electricity, water, sewerage, and all that. Telephone, gas. They are called amenities. So the biggest problem for many 19th century. If amenities was the biggest problem, answer is yes. Not true. Answer is yes. If there was another big problem, or the biggest problem was not amenities, they had amenities but they had another problem, then the answer is no. And if they don't tell us the biggest problem, then the answer is not given. Please come back. Look for the word amenities. Second page, first paragraph. Found it? I'm reading it from second line. Barr identifies 4 primary immigrant enclaves and analyzes their locations in terms of the amenities available in the area. Now, did he mention that amenities was the biggest problem? Number 1, no. Number 2, did he mention the biggest problem? No. So, what is the answer? Not given. Question number 35, please. In the 19th century, New York's immigrant neighborhoods, underline 19th century and underline New York's immigrant neighborhoods, tended to concentrate around the harbor. Now look here, if they tended to concentrate around the harbor, means the beach area. If they tended to concentrate around the harbor, it is yes. If they concentrated on other areas, not the harbor. Harbor means the beach. Okay, if you watch any movie of New York, you see there is that harbor, and beyond that there are the skyscrapers and all that. So that's very popular point. So in 19th century, New York immigrant neighborhoods mean the people who settled there, tended to concentrate around the harbor. Now please come back. Same paragraph where we found the answer of 34. Most of these enclaves, found it? Most of these enclaves were located on the least valuable land between the industries located on the waterfront and the wealthy neighborhoods bordering Central Park. Now what do they say? Come back. In the 19th century, New York's immigrant neighborhoods tended to concentrate around the harbor. Now let's see if they tended to concentrate around the harbor or not. Come back here again. Most of these enclaves were located on the least valuable land. Now least valuable land they mentioned between the industries located on the waterfront and the wealthy neighborhoods bordering Central Park. So did they mention that immigrants' neighborhoods tended to concentrate around the harbor? Where did they concentrate? Exactly, most of these enclaves were located on the least valuable land. So that means they concentrated more on least valuable land between the industries located on the waterfront and the wealthy neighborhoods. So answer is no. Information is given, but the answer is no. All right, thank you.